Of course, I realize that we have competition. We're not out here alone in the field. We strive very hard to be competitive. And as a matter of fact, if you're listening to this, watching this, then you know that the BPO industry as a whole has just exploded over the last several years, particularly so in the Philippines. But if I had to choose just one word that would sum up what I feel makes staffoutsource.net different, it would be family and culture, the culture of the Philippines. When you understand that, or even understand it just a little bit, you realize how important family is to the Filipino mind. And when you create an atmosphere, when you can create an atmosphere that makes a person enjoy coming to work, to look forward to sitting down and accomplishing their task, you have someone who is happy, productive, and enjoys the fact that they are helping a business, whether it be in the United States, Australia, the UK, Canada, anywhere. When they know that they are helping an extended family, so to speak, become successful, then it becomes a win-win-win. A win for us because our company continues to flourish, a win for the Filipino who feels comfortable in their full-time employment, and a win for you, the client, because you have a happy, productive team who is only interested in one thing, and that is seeing your job, your tasks, your company rise in the search engines and become more and more successful. So I think if I had to sum it up, family, and if I had to take it a step further, I would say helping people achieve success, helping companies achieve success. If you're at a point where you're considering outsourcing and wondering, is it the right thing to do? Should we stay in-house? Should we go offshore? Is this BPO right? Is that BPO right? I realize that you're at a crossroads, and you might be wondering, how can I differentiate between your BPO and another one I spoke to yesterday? It really comes down to a very few questions that you need to ask, and then find out, do you have a camaraderie with the BPO in question. But here's a very important factor, which is true with us, and you need to find out if it's true with any other company you're speaking with, and that is the retention rate and the attrition rate. Basically, this means, do people enjoy coming to work or do they not? If they enjoy coming to work, they're going to stay there. If they don't, they're going to quit. Now, you might think, well, why should it matter to me? All I care about is the end results. And rightly so, but let me put it to you this way. If you have an in-house hire, you have to train them. You have to teach them how you want something done. And as they become more skilled and more proficient, you can then think to yourself, I can forget worrying about this person because I know they're going to do the job correctly. Well, it's the same way with a Filipino. They may or may not get the job perfect on day one, but by day 2 or 3, they're going to be pretty good at it. You want the assurance that when they come to work next Monday, that they're still going to be in the seat, that you're not going to have to start from square one training a brand new team member, that, let's just call him Tom, that Tom is going to be there to perform the task just as well as he did last week. And that is the retention rate. The attrition rate is people leave for one reason or another, which may not be work-based. It may be because someone's sick, family reasons, personal decisions. Those are things we don't necessarily have control over. But here's what we do have control over and what we try to accomplish. No, what we do accomplish at staffoutsource.net. We create a friendly and driven work environment. Friendly means they want to come to work. Driven means they are interested in getting the job done correctly, on time, on budget, doing as good a job as is possible. And that is very important to Filipino people, doing the job well and getting an attaboy, a pat on the back, a job well done. That makes them feel great inside. And it makes any of us feel great inside, but particularly so to the Filipinos. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the culture. Now, we do this by team building, having outings, gatherings, by giving awards, by treating everyone like they are special. And indeed, they are. Our most valuable asset is not our infrastructure, not our redundant internet, not our backup generators, but the people, the staff, the Filipinos who make our life worthwhile. Because when they shine, we shine. And when we shine, when we put out a beacon that says, here we are, then you might look at our video as you're doing right now and think, okay, I'll give staff.outsource.net a try. And that is when everything comes together and we create, as I said earlier, that win-win-win. So we do hope you'll give us a shot, and I hope this has answered at least some of your questions. Should you come and visit? Absolutely. This is one of the most beautiful areas in the world, and when you come here, you have the opportunity to bond with your team. And believe me, they're going to give you a welcome like you won't believe. Now, do you have to come? No, of course you don't. But do realize that, as I mentioned earlier, culture is very important, and family is very important. And when you actually come here and meet your team in person, you become part of the extended family. That's just a fact that's kind of branded into the DNA of the Filipino people. But if you can't come, realize that the leadership here at staff.outsource.net is based on Western principles and Western people. Obviously, you can hear my accent. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I split my time going back and forth. We also have a gentleman named Steve, who's our account manager, who is the one you'll speak with when you fill out our form. He is boots on the ground in the Philippines, married to a Filipino, but he's from Australia. And he understands the Western culture, United States, Australia, Canada, British. I understand specifically the United States, but you have the assurance of knowing that we can help you understand the culture, we can help you understand the Filipino people, we can bridge the gap so that there is no difficulties in integrating your style, your management style, your work ethic. Oh, speaking of work ethic, I don't want to digress, but speaking of work ethic, you will never find a greater work ethic than the Filipino people. And that has nothing to do with us. That's just ingrained. That's just part of the culture. As a matter of fact, if you go to Google right now and type in the traits of the Filipino people, one of those is their friendliness, their happiness, and their high work ethic. When you team up with the Philippines BPO, hopefully staff.outsource.net, but whoever it is, you're going to be teaming with a group of people who will hold you in the highest regard and whose sole purpose, once they establish that relationship, will be to help you accomplish your goals. What are the pitfalls of outsourcing? Well, in my mind, there are none, but that's a realistic question. The only thing I've found from a variety of clients over the years is the fear of entering into a long-term contract or process and then deciding, hey, this is not for me. Well, of course, we're going to do everything we can to ensure that never happens, but if it should, you can be released from any contract, any SLE without termination fees with a simple 30-day notice. I mean, it can't get much fairer than that. And when you get in touch with us, and I really hope you do, we want to start a conversation with you, not a high-pressure sales tactic. You'll be talking with Steve, a friendly, outgoing account manager who can steer you through any obstacles and just explain the process. So before I get long-winded, which I have a tendency to do, come on over to staff.outsource.net. Up at the top right, you'll find a contact area. Just click the button, start a conversation, ask your questions, and hey, if we can do business, that would be wonderful. But if we can't, if you choose someone else, at least you will have your questions answered, and then we'll be on your radar for the future. Come on by, talk to you next time. This is Tim signing off.